Good evening to all of you. For me, it is a pleasure and a very special pride always to accompany you from this training room at NV Global. Tonight, we are starting a network marketing course that NV Global has designed for all of you, especially aiming to provide you with the tools and practical skills so that all of you can successfully develop your prospecting, the way you invite new partners to this great business, to this special company, and also to provide you with the tools to develop it in any business you wish to undertake. So today we are starting the marketing course of New World Marketing, as I mentioned. And in today's topic, we are going to start with prospecting and invitation. So this is the topic that has been assigned to me. I am Valentina Escobar from Colombia, and I want to start with you on the topic of prospecting. So give me a moment. I am going to share my screen with my presentation, and we will begin shortly. This training, I remind you, will be recorded so that people who could not connect today can do so easily. At another time, in another schedule, you already know that we are in different time zones for different countries. So we will also leave it recorded. Ready? And also so that you can repeat it as many times as necessary. You can watch it without any problem. All right. So let's begin. As I mentioned, this is the network marketing course designed by NV Global for this community, especially for Latin America, but it will also be replicated for the communities we have in the rest of the world. We start the first part of this training, prospecting and invitation. I remind you, I am Valentina Escobar, and it is a pleasure for me to accompany you tonight. Subscribe. All right. So in this first part of the prospecting topic was, we first need to make a small introduction to the ad topic of network marketing. Yes, this one. This module, which we are starting today, aims to provide clarity about the business, the importance of prospecting, and to establish the correct mindset that every successful worker should have. So let's start by talking a little, understanding a bit about what network marketing is and how it works, and what it specifically serves us for. We can understand network marketing as also being marketing networks or multi-level marketing. We have seen it throughout the economy, not only nationally, but globally, because it has become increasingly popular, since it is a very simple and economical way to reach very large communities. So through network marketing, what the company that essentially applies it does is allocate profits to a marketing network that it has effectively designed and needs to be built through distributors. Every time we start this business with a company X, in this case, we can use the example of NV Global. But you can also apply it with other companies. What the company initially does is allocate an amount of its profits to be distributed among its group of leaders within its group of partners. or among the distributors who want to build this marketing network. This means that not only does the company profit, but all of us who participate in this network benefit as well. Direct distribution is managed. So we do not need to have stock of products in the case of physical products. We also handle earnings from direct sales or commissions. So here we not only earn by selling, but also by referring and bringing in people who want to do the same thing we are doing. In this way, we also foster the growth of a network. It is very normal and very common for companies engaged in network marketing to invest money, time, and human talent in training their leaders and partners, because they must be very willing to keep learning. Topics on leadership, personal development, economics, and products, and about the system that the company offers them to develop this business model. We find a step-by-step guide to how network marketing works. As the first action, we have consumption and recommendation. So normally what we do, the people who design and develop this business, is that we first use the product or service offered by the company we are partnering with, and then we recommend it. So when we already have some results, a testimony, we are going to recommend. We already have the confidence to be able to inform what is the benefit that this company offers us and why we want to develop the network marketing of this company. So that's where we started building network marketing, which involves inviting people to do exactly the same thing we did. Initially, start consuming and start replicating the testimonies and the results that we have been observing. Through this network, what we are going to start finding is residual income. So that's where we will realize that we not only earn, in the case of NV Global, we not only earn a profit for having created an investment plan or for using the tools that this company offers us, for example, the wallet, for example, the exchange, or the investment plans it offers us, but we also generate a profit because other people come to do the same, to generate profit and to earn. So on the investment that this new person makes, on the consumption that this new person makes. In the case of other companies, we also generate a profit that becomes residual income for us. And it allows us to earn in a better way. Basically then, what we can see on the screen is how the first little figure invites. After having consumed and learned about the products, invites 3 people, tells them about the business, explains the benefits of the business, and talks about the company that is developing the business. And in turn, those 3 people do the same with 3 others. And a marketing network is built. That allows us to earn. In this case, not only are the final 3 people earning, but also the 3 in the first line. And also the person who started that marketing network. Here then, we find the differences between developing a business with network marketing or developing a traditional business. The first difference we find is in the amount we have on investments and in the risks. In all companies that are developed traditionally, a seed capital is needed that we don't know if it will generate profits for us in a month or in 3 months. Normally, what happens when an entrepreneur wants to start is that they say, well, this is the seed capital, and the first thing I have to start doing is reserving the rent for the first 3 months, the payroll for the first 3 months, because In those first 3 months, I will see if they earn. Has it happened to you? Has it happened to you, or have you heard it that way? It's very common to hear it, and it's very common for people to have a risk of this, to you as well, right? Because they have to make an investment to start reserving those first 3 months. The second thing is that you start alone in that company. You work alone. It's your effort. So you are the advertiser, you are the designer, you are the salesperson, you are the distributor, you are the collector, the accountant. You start working alone, and depending on the growth of your company, that's when you begin to see how you can hire another team that will support you and help you grow the business. Unlike the networking business, here you leverage a network. You also start working alone. But as you grow your network, you rely on that network to make your business grow and your community expand. Advertising is usually expensive, whereas in our business, advertising is word of mouth. The more people with results, the more happy people there are, the more charity advertising we will have. The profits from a traditional business are linear. You earn from a sale, you make simply, whereas in new marketing, we have residual and exponential earnings. As we already explained, you earn by bringing more people to grow your network. Limited on time or location. If you have a business in Colombia, you only develop it in Colombia, it is much more difficult to start exporting your product or your service. So the location where you have your company limits you. It limits you in time because you only operate at certain hours and in certain locations. Whereas in non-marketing, you can work from any place in the world. And in fact, here at NV Global, we have demonstrated this. Just as I am currently in Colombia, I know that in the audience, I know that in this Zoom, there are people watching me from other countries, from other cities in my own country. They are also watching me. So we can develop this business from anywhere in the world without the need for an office. We only need a computer, an internet connection, and we can start developing the business. So this makes the business much simpler and much more economical. Here we find the differences between selling, which is what we do in traditional business, and building a network. So one of the main differences we have is that in traditional business, we sell a product or a service and exchange it for an amount of money. That is the cost. That is the value we have assigned, the price we have given to our product or service. From there, we subtract the costs of the product or service, and what remains is our profit. Done. When we build a network, we are not only selling a product or a service, but we are also teaching other people to do the same as us, build a network. So it is very important, the training we provide to our team, the information, the tools, what we can teach them so that they don't just make a sale and then disengage, but also earn by building their network, right? In the way of selling, as we already mentioned in the traditional business, you do everything. You do everything in your business. And here what you do is train leaders who help us duplicate the system. And the proof of that, for example, is in this course. Here what we are trying to do is train people, providing them with tools, helping them discover their skills. so that they go out to create their marketing network more confidently, with more security, with more informed knowledge, and they can start duplicating the system that we are offering them. In selling, we only find income. That depends solely on your effort. So if you work only 4 hours, you will earn for 4 hours, and that's it. Or what you manage to sell only at that moment when you are working and offering the product. In network building, we not only receive what we do, but also what our team starts to do as well. We start to receive some profits from that. So we don't necessarily need to be talking to that person, because that person is in our network in the 3rd, 4th line, and we can be generating a profit from that line, which is far below us, right? And surely the person who is making the sale or closing the deal is someone different from us, who has already been trained by us, but it's no longer us. We are not the ones putting in the effort to bring in that new person. So in traditional business, if you don't sell, you don't earn. Here, if you don't leverage, you don't earn. You have leverage because you precisely have a network that supports you, also that takes care of you. All right, so here we can start to see why. Is prospecting always going to be the heart of the business? We have several reasons that support this statement. And the first reason is that without people, there is no business. Network marketing is a people business. It's a business where constantly we must be inviting. In fact, every day we should be inviting, knocking on doors. So the first thing is that if there's no one to talk to, the whole business comes to a halt. That's why it's important to be searching, to be networking, to be inviting family, inviting friends of friends, because that's the way to reach more people every day. Prospecting opens our doors to everything. Yes, because if we have more clients, we have more commissions. If we have more partners, we have more business duplication, and we have community growth. If we have more guests, we have more presentations. If we have more presentations, more closings. So it's always very important to be applying prospecting so that our business is successful, so that our business never stops. It's a natural quality filter, because not everyone is made to work in network marketing. Not everyone is made to be invited to this type of business. So it's also a way to start filtering which people you want to have around you and which people you want to bring into your team. Even though you have to prospect everyone and you have to invite everyone, it's a way to start filtering who you want to surround yourself with. It's a skill that is trained, yes. Every day we have to be in constant training, in constant learning, because that is what will lead us to develop this business in a simpler way, to prospect in a much easier way, understanding everything, not necessarily do we need people to have experience for people to be charismatic from the start, right? Because anyone can start prospecting, and not just for our business, but for their daily life, for any other type of business. You must prospect and start training in this skill. Consistency makes the difference. What do you think about this statement? I believe it is one of the main things we must have to be very disciplined people, to be people who set challenges for ourselves every day, who are trying every day. Remember that in prospecting, we can encounter many no's. In fact, we must seek the no's to reach the yeses. When many people start telling us no, 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 no to everything, we start training ourselves, we become stronger. It affects us less when they say no because we give it less importance. We do it with greater confidence. And one day the yes will come. So the more we do it, the more consistently we do it every day, with more discipline and preparation, we will surely reach goals that people who stop doing it, or who don't do it with as much dedication, or who don't set a schedule to work, don't do it with as much discipline and commitment, will surely not find the same results as those who do it all the time. Here is a very beautiful phrase that I found very important to bring up for tonight, and it is, prospecting is like breathing. If you stop doing it, the business stops living. So what does it mean? That every day we must be engaged in that task. We must be in a state of readiness for prospecting. We will gradually start doing it automatically each time. Excuse me, this gets stuck for me. I step here. Give me a second, I have a small issue here. Can you see my screen or are you seeing me? Sorry, can you help me in the chat? The screen, I mean the presentation, right? Perfect. Perfect. Yes, resolved. Excuse me. Things always happen during these live events. So let's continue with the explanation. So here we start to see a topic that is quite important in prospecting, and that is the contact list. In network marketing, the product is not important. It doesn't have to be the most expensive. The product doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be the brand more sophisticated. Maybe yes, innovative, but it doesn't affect as much as, it doesn't have the same importance as the contact list. The contact list for us becomes our inventory. It becomes the most important asset we must have and that we must always keep updated, organized, because surely after contacting the people who are there, it will diminish. So we must keep feeding it. It's always about looking for new contacts to include and always keeping it updated. So the first thing is that it becomes the inventory of our business. So If there is no product in a traditional business, there is no sale. But for us, in the neuromarketing business, what is that if we don't have contacts, we have no one to talk to and no one to sell to. So in this way, it becomes our fundamental inventory to have a well-constructed list of contacts. Do not judge them. It's a recommendation that we make nowadays, because many times as human beings, we are predisposed to say no. It's ingrained in our minds that the first thing we do is filter people before showing them our product or service. We are already saying, oh, I have my mom, I have my dad, I have my siblings, I have my cousins, my mother-in-law, but no, I better not. I won't tell my mother-in-law because no, in these investment matters, she is very pessimistic, because if she ends up losing, then we are already predisposed to that no. So the first thing, our mission, like New Yorkin, it's not precisely about filtering who enters or who doesn't enter the business. It's about inviting them, inviting everyone. Let them be the ones to filter themselves. Ready? The third important point is that the list is a living entity. As I was saying, it is an asset that we must be nurturing daily. And as they keep telling us no, then we are synchronized. There are 5 new prospects that we must have on that contact list. We must be updating it frequently. Nurturing and organizing it to follow up with the people we have there, and to ensure the information is clear so that we can always manage it correctly. Quality plus quantity equals results. So this is where we can see what kind of contact list we are working with. At a minimum, we should start working with a contact list of 100 people, at least, because many will tell us no. So we will have a small percentage that we can convince, or that later we will be able to address the objections they are giving us. And that's why it's important to have them organized. The person's name, the phone number. I contacted them for the first time on such date. They said, no, yes, maybe. All that information is very important in our contact list. Every time someone tells us no, always keep updating so that we never run out of prospects to contact. The difference between those who earn a lot and those who give up is very simple. Those who earn have more people to talk to and never stop. As I mentioned earlier, in traditional businesses, those who don't have a product have no one to sell to. But in our business, it is very, very important to have people to talk to and to invite every day to learn about our products, our services, our company. Where can we start to develop a successful prospecting? The first thing we must start doing is to know our product. Important questions we must ask ourselves and have very clear in order to talk to our users. The first thing is to know our product. So what does the company offer us? What service? What product? If it's a service or a product, what does it solve? How it is managed, how it is used. So here we have a business presentation where we are explaining all the products, what they are for, how they work. We have also provided training on how each of our products works. So we have had training from NV by BITNEVEX, on how the NV Global back office works. So with what objective? So that they know the services we are offering. The second very important thing we need to know and have no doubts about is the company we are in. So how long has it been established? Is it legally constituted? Does it have legal backing? Where does it exist? How long has it existed? What does this company do? Who are its founders? Why was it created? For what purpose? What is the company's objective for existing in the market? And finally, the system. The system that the company offers us is also very fundamental. What does it offer us in terms of earnings? How much profit will this business leave us? What bonuses can I earn if I bring in people? How much will I earn if I refer my friends, my neighbor, my cousins? How much am I going to earn? What bonuses does it offer me? What are the additional benefits? What can it teach me? What do I have to do to ensure my system doesn't fail, but instead is nourished every day and makes me grow while simultaneously growing the company? It's also important to define your purpose when you start working in a business, when you start venturing into the world of network marketing. It's very important that you have a clear understanding of your purpose, why you are doing it. Do you want time? Do you want money? Do you want to work without being accountable to anyone? How do you want to improve? What do you want to achieve through this business? And the last thing you should keep in mind is who you surround yourself with. It's very important that you have a positive close circle with the right mindset, with the results that perhaps you want to achieve, people who have already accomplished them, people who become a reference for all of us to be able to reach those goals, right? So it's important that I say, well, I want to bill and have an income of $5,000 a month. Well, then I'm going to start training myself. I will start listening to people who already have that monthly income or who have an income higher than that amount. So they can teach me how to do it, to show me that it is possible and that I'm not delusional, that I'm not crazy, convinced that I am going to do it and that's it, which is also very important, but it has to be something possible. Because we are seeing that another person is achieving it. So if they could, why can't I? So it's important that the people around us are feeding us, motivating us, challenging us, like, hey, I already earned this bonus. When will you? So those kinds of things in our circle are very important for us to become successful. Within the mindset of successful networking, we find mental reprogramming, patience, focus, and action. So this part is quite important because when we start to develop these networking activities, work marketing, the first thing that comes to mind are our limiting beliefs. I don't know how to sell. I don't know how to speak. I feel embarrassed to invite people. But the answers must always be a mental reprogramming. We must start to see the positive side of those limiting beliefs to change our perception of who we are. Build more confidence and believe the story that we can. It's the first thing we must do. So if I don't know how to sell because I haven't had commercial experience, what do I need to do? I need to train myself. I need to seek knowledge. I need to read. I need to listen. I need to attend conferences that provide me with that commercial skill that I lack. But I myself must be interested in building that new version and that new skill of myself, which is that I am very afraid of facing screens and speaking in public. Well, then you must generate knowledge. You must dedicate yourself to studying more the topics you have to present so that fear gradually disappears. You won't be as embarrassed to talk about a topic you already know, that you handle without any problem, as something you completely don't know. Of course, going out to talk about things one doesn't know causes terror, causes fear, causes uncertainty, precisely because we are afraid of ridicule, of failure. So what is it that will make us have a consciousness with confidence, knowledge, learning every day about skills, effective communication, presentations, making a training session dynamic, that will make us face a training session without so much terror? No one implements that reprogramming. We have to seek that reprogramming ourselves. We ourselves are the ones who know what purpose we want, where we want to go, and then we have to strive and mentally prepare ourselves to do other things, to build confidence and to be able to achieve our future goals. How to overcome the fear of rejection and what others will say. We were precisely talking about that topic in advance, and it is by generating confidence, creating a connection with people. And that is only generated through knowledge. When you listen to someone who knows the subject, and I think we already know how to differentiate who knows from who is improvising on topics, we can feel that this person will connect with me and more people will join my network. And fewer people will say no to me. Through knowledge, I will be able to counter all the negative things they have to say about my business. And then I will be able to more confidently tell them, look, my business is successful, my business is good. It is true that what I am telling you is being achieved. It is being achieved in different parts of the world. So with more confidence, with more knowledge, we will reject more the fear of what others will say and the fear of being told no. The importance of vision and daily commitment, we had also already mentioned something on this occasion, and that is to be clear about what our purpose is, what we want, how we see ourselves in the future, how we see ourselves in a year. What income do we want to have in a year? What do we want to achieve by developing this business? And what are we willing to do with that daily commitment to make my business work? So, how many people am I going to add to my contact list? Thank you. Daily. I'm going to work 2 hours, 3 hours, 8 hours, 14 hours. How many people should I bring to my business? How many? Why? Other things. After having made my contact list with my phone, after having taken my phone and having reviewed all the contacts and having contacted everyone, my list ran out, my emails ran out. What other things am I going to do to generate new prospects? How am I going to commit to my business so that it always has people and doesn't stop? Because I don't want my income to stop tomorrow because I stopped inviting. So it is very, very important to have a clear vision, that life purpose, and the daily commitment that each person puts into their business and their prospecting work. For now, this is the theoretical part I have for you, but at this moment, I would like to know what questions you have. If the information I have provided so far has been clear, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, we still have more prospecting material to continue working on. So this course, well, it doesn't end today. The topic of prospecting will not end today. In fact, I would like to hear from you first or read your messages through the chat to see if there are any concerns and move on to the next activity. Well, there are no questions at the moment. So I would like to ask you a favor as a commitment to yourselves and your business. And that is to develop this first activity. Well, there are two actually. There are actually two activities that I have for you. And I would like you to do them conscientiously, each one committed to their business and the focus they want to give it so that they can develop them at home, calmly with the discipline and assurance that it will be beneficial for your business. The first is to create a contact list. Take your cell phone and develop a contact list of at least 30 people for the moment. As we continue to develop our business, we will gradually increase the number of people we will need in that contact list. I don't need you to start telling them about the business. I don't need you to start talking to them. I just need you to take a pencil and paper or an Excel sheet on your computer and generate a contact list of at least 30 names. It's important that this list includes your full name, the phone number, perhaps the email address. These are details that could be very useful for having this initial contact list. And the second task I want to leave you with is to create from in a written form, have clarity on what your purpose is with this business. So whatever the business may be for which you entered this training, whether in Big Global or any other business, you should be clear about what you want to achieve with that business. And secondly, in a few more words, what does that business offer? What does that business have? Whether it's a product, a service, or what it has to offer to the rest of the community. What will we achieve with this activity? That we have clear information to start generating prospecting scripts. So that's why it's so important to take your time and do it so that in the next training session when we meet, you can have that information clear and we can make it a bit more dynamic, a bit more practical, and you can start applying the knowledge you have about prospecting. Ready? So for now, that's all I have to tell you. As I said, my training on prospecting is divided into different parts, so I invite you to join the upcoming training sessions. We will have training sessions from Monday to Friday at 7 p.m., not only on prospecting, but on different topics that encompass the neuromarketing course, designed by NV Global for you. I remind you, my name is Valentina Escobar, and it is a pleasure for me to accompany you in this new opportunity and in the upcoming ones. Have a good night. Goodbye.